I'm opening. We have an eye, sort of a nostril, 2 teeth. One of the teeth has a small cavity. Close call, folks, but I think we got here just in time.
Presented by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. This is Anatomy of a Movie. In-depth discussions and breakdowns of various movie titles. And now that you've seen the movie, let the dissection begin.
Y'all gonna sing Baby Doll right off the bat, or do we have any?
Oh, we should. We totally should.
I will listen to you say Baby Doll.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Anatomy of a Movie. This week, Under the Knife, Danny Collins, and since it's Danny, it's probably plastic surgery. But to welcome you, my name is John Comerford, and joined in the studio by Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone.
Sarah Stretton.
I'm over here.
Hi, Sarah's over there.
And Alison Dean.
Hi.
All right, ladies, we've got all you lovely ladies here. Please, let's jump in with your overall impressions. I'm going to go to Alison, who's our new member here.
My overall impression, I thought it was a very charming film. It definitely pulled on my heartstrings. I must admit, I probably should have brought a box of tissues with me. And maybe I shouldn't admit that, but I just did. I don't know. I really thought it was a lovely little film. I thought Pacino did a fantastic job as a rocker. He rocked as a rocker. Then again, I don't know if Pacino really can do no wrong. Yeah, and I thought the use of Lennon songs in the film was like very, very on point. So like when I was checking back, looking over my notes and reading where they use certain songs, I was like, yeah, they really thought this through. So I'd say maybe not a movie you need to see in the theater. You know, I said to my fiance, Netflix maybe, but I'm not upset that I saw it in the theater. So,
Sarah, do you have anything?
I know. She's like, I contradict that entirely. Yeah.
No, I won't contradict it entirely. I will also agree that I think Pacino is great.
Okay.
Because I found that his positive kind of spin on the rock star, he just has like this kind of bubble of charming energy, got me through the movie. And that was really unexpected because the first opening scene did not portray his character to be that way at all. I was expecting this very introspective, like, maybe has a front but totally can't handle it on the inside thing. Nope, that character's out the window. He is.
It's what he grew into after 40 years.
There you go.
Right. You got to have the showman.
So yes, Pacino got me through this movie. I thought his interpretation of the character was so much fun and did bring just this ongoing energy to a film. But on the other hand, I found myself being like, oh, we're adding a new story element, whether that be family, disease, bankruptcy, weird fiance, sugar daddy deal, all of these things happening. And in the end, I'm like, well, what did I learn or what did I get? There was just very little payoff for me. I didn't understand what the grounds were or why we needed so much. I think in the past year of film, we have learned that sometimes you can get so much from a story that's quote unquote smaller, whether you're looking like at a Whiplash or whatnot. And this movie just like, I don't know if it's because before he's written movies that do combine multiple plot lines and multiple characters almost as like the main protagonist, but this one just had too much going on for me. You're bopping around trying to follow cancer and career and him, and I didn't feel grounded enough. But it did have its saving graces. I would love to talk about those, and then maybe I can hop on board with you in the tear wagon.
Marisa.
All right. Well, I overall enjoyed this movie, and right off the bat I figured, okay, this is for the older audience, not the older, but like the people who grew up with Lennon, the 60s, the 70s, who knows like the fame and fortune Lennon had, so they had something to compare it to and relate to. And then also Al Pacino, he is amazing. I think the acting, and I was really invested in all the characters because I thought individually all of them were very interesting, and it was like, okay, I can follow these people, they're fun to watch. I think because we know this movie is based off of a situation that happened in real life, but to add the more content to it to fill that gap and make a movie and round it out, I found everything that has been added, all the new elements, so to speak, were very predictable in some ways. I knew that Danny was going to have financial problems because we see he's a high roller. He spends a lot of money. He gives away a lot of things. I was like, all right, he's going to have financial problems. We saw that. We knew when the son mentioned that, oh, are you sick? We're like, okay, we're going to get a health story in some fashion. And it wasn't from Danny, it was from the son. So there were so many different elements that I knew were going to happen, but it didn't bother me. It's just like, yeah, I knew it was coming, and here's the end result. So overall, it was a very feel-good type of movie. I would suggest it to my parents who grew up with the Beatles and in that time and folk stories and whatnot. I think it's interesting how they added a story to what could have happened other than like what really did happen. So overall, it was a fun movie. We'll definitely get into it, but yeah.
I thought it was exactly reflective of its title character. It's a well-worn story, just like you can hear the song over and over again, but if it's catchy tune and if it's charming enough, you'll still enjoy the song. And that's what this movie is. It's a well-worn tale. We've seen this story a zillion times, but it's very charming. It's very fun, and it gets you because for whatever reason, on many different ways, it gets you. And so it worked for me. I know it was completely manipulative, and I can understand why Sara has her concerns about it. But I thought he was deft enough, just like in Crazy Stupid Love for me, that he got through the areas that could have been too sentimental. I think he pulled back just enough, or at least added enough in there where it wasn't too cloying. So it worked for me.
I thought there were moments that were moving. I thought there were definitely scenes where I was compelled. I will say that, in my opinion, Jennifer Garner gave some fantastic lines.
Yeah.
My favorite line for hers actually was when she's on the couch and she's like, I'm a great like daughter-in-law.
See what you
One of the
missed
best
out
lines
on?
in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Loved that. I did think though that they were pushing the emotional element. I felt like sometimes it wasn't as earned. Maybe that's for me because this movie, I think openings of movies are very important. They're what...
You're talking about the actual movie or the opening weekend? What do you mean by opening?
Opening scenes.
Opening scenes, thank you.
Opening scenes. And I'm not necessarily talking about like while the credits are rolling. I'm talking about the first scene of substance. Sometimes it's dialogue, sometimes it's not. This, and it's supposed to set up believability, it's supposed to get you invested in the story, and from the get-go, this one I had a little bit of a trouble with.
Why is that?
Because we're opening, and you're getting a lot of background, and I'm getting into it, because you have this guy being like, you're gonna be great, Danny Collins, like, this is your first interview, and it works, because, like, we get the tie into that interview later, and this is the moment that's gonna cause this letter to be written, and I liked that element. What I didn't like is that when we finally pan to our main character, they were so internalized in, like, it was so that there's all this emotion like rattling in their head, and their eye line wasn't even with the other character. It was like staring down at a corner of a desk, and I was like, in the movie that I was about to get into, I was about to see a man with emotional struggles, like self-realization problems, like not being able to cope with his career, not being able to really function normally, because this character that I'm introduced to in this opening scene doesn't seem to have a grasp on his surroundings. He seems
I don't
frail
understand your
and
point, though,
weak.
because I think that's exactly what they're trying to do, is that he isn't emotionally ready for this.
See, because then I feel like we flipped a page into a different movie.
So that's why I disagree.
I can understand
I
that.
did, but I thought, okay, this guy is the sense of dread on his face of what's about to happen to him, and that doom, and the thing he fears most, which is that it is going to affect me, and I'm going to change, and then he becomes the very thing that he dreads. That's what I thought was amazing about it. It's like great, everything that he was worried about in that moment, he created. Because you always.
But I never saw that first
dread.
character again.
No, I agree with that. Not yet. That's the promise of what you might see at the end, which is what you get. Not the full thing of it, because 40 years you're not gonna get that guy back. By the way, that guy is gone.
Yeah, that guy's gone.
That innocence is lost.
Then why did I
is
see
dead.
him?
Because that's what sets up everything that he was so scared of. The thing that he would fear the most is I'm going to lose myself and the whole thing he was trying to get back wasn't just his sense of redemption for his family and his son and all that sense of what I used to be, that trying to write again, that magic part of him that created his genius and his artistry in the beginning, that you can't get it back. It's gone.
Right. My establishing scene for this character was the second one, when we first see him walk out onto the stage in front of the audience for the first time. And then after a great performance that he just had, it shows that he's done this. He's kind of stuck in his career and in his life. when he walks into his house, like, he doesn't have, that emotional support that he should have. So he's already stuck in this certain point of his life. That's where it established for me. And I was like, okay, something has to happen to him for him to have some type of character growth,
I just saw
arc.
that opening scene. I saw the promise of what this guy could have been.
Well, and I saw contrast, I thought it was important to just establish just how much someone can shift.
How far away he'd gone to who he was, his core.
You can start being so innocent in the entertainment business, and such a drastic thing can occur through the years, depending on how much your career is manipulated by outside sources.
Or how much you allow it to be manipulated.
And they remind us of that every time he's like, I haven't written a song in 30 years. Everything's been, pushed in front of him. So, yeah, I definitely thought that first scene was a necessary means to an end, because, throughout the movie
Nothing else, Nick Offerman was amazing. But go ahead.
Yeah, that was. I was like, every time
his laugh.
Yeah, that was brutal. No, yeah, I definitely thought it was a necessary thing to establish.
And you're saying necessary, not unnecessary.
It was a necessary.
Thank you very much.
It was a necessary thing to establish.
Indeed. But it didn't work for you because it set up something totally else for
and
you.
I saw a character who was so, like, unstable or something, and to a point of almost breaking and seeming unhappy. And then all of a sudden I get happy showmanship of showman.
Yeah, but that was all a facade. You got that part right. I mean, it was all a facade. So I mean, the person that I think that you're missing is or maybe I'm going to propose the idea that what you're missing was that guy who he was, and it no longer. I guess
part of me also didn't miss that character.
The guy in the beginning.
Yeah, he didn't seem happy. He seemed unstable. I just
thought it wasn't unstable. He was just so worried about I'm just on the brink of success. What's it gonna do to me? Not unstable, like, oh my God, he's emotionally retarded or in some fashion.
Right.
To me, he was just like freaking out, and I didn't. It was so emotionally forced and pushed.
Oh, I didn't see that at all. I guess because I've been there, but I've been
and then
there.
we
People on the
flipped to a
brink
new
of
story,
success.
and I just never saw that also character again. And I just didn't get. I understood how plot-wise they connected. I understood the foundation of the scene and why we recalled it for the letter and all of these uses. But for the character use, I did not see the connection.
I just saw it as a guy who's on the brink of success, and he's just going, I have no idea what the chasm, the abyss I'm about to jump into, and this is freaking the crap out of me. And this guy is touching on that. Would you stop? That's what I got. I didn't take it any farther, but it set something else up for you. So, yeah. But that's where it went with me. So, all right, but let's talk about some of the things that we loved about it, and then we'll get into some of the things that we didn't like about it. Because, you make this point, something about Jennifer Garner's first line. The thing that I did appreciate, because to a large degree, this was a very formulaic film. But he did take moments because you would not see that in a regular formulaic movie. He would take chances where he would say, okay, well, you're normally going to go this way, but I'm going to have these people go that way. So, and that was a good point, and a good example of that.
I like how her character, when we first introduced her, her main priority is her own family. Like, I like the fact that she liked the idea that she could have a father-in-law. It could be something good for their family. But in the end, first of all, her family comes first. And whatever her husband decides comes first. I was like, all right, I can get with this woman. She has her strong moral ground, whether it's good or bad for her family. So I was like, yes, I really latched onto her character, and I was like, I wanted to see more.
Yeah, I did too. The other point I wanted to make about not doing the expected, when Danny finds out his wife's having an affair, his fiance, his very much younger fiance, and he catches them and everything, and then you expect either some kind of fight or something, And no, he just goes, okay, you two kids are young. And I go, that is an extremely mature way to handle it. And it also shows how much he's not invested in this relationship. And
Yes.
it couldn't even have, I don't even know if he's able to have an emotional attachment to somebody because he just he's been stunted.
Yeah, but also that scene bothered me because that is something that I knew was going to come back and bite him in the ass.
What?
Because like not kicking out the girlfriend the first time. But I was like, she's going to come back and cause trouble. And
but that's
sure
what
enough,
addicts
she
do.
did.
They make horrible decisions.
Yeah, but like sure enough, she did, and that was an element for me that I found very predictable. I was like, she's not cutting
absolutely was predictable.
Yeah, I was like, he's not cutting ties with this woman
Yeah.
who's already causing problems. She's going to come back and cause more problems, and we saw that. So
I also thought that scene gave us one of the best zingers of the movie, though, when he said, well, so Busy Work made the comment like, oh, my parents had our first dance to one of your songs, and then he goes, well, that's all kinds of effed up. And it was such a real, like, well, that had a meaning beyond just that, and I appreciated that. I thought it was great. Basically because he wouldn't be there had it not been for Danny Collins' song. Yes. Yeah.
And doing he is now going to sleep, something Danny Collins has slept with.
Right, there you go, right.
Which is just very strange.
Which is all kinds of effed up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I thought that how he did handle that situation was interesting and different. Give him that. My question, I'm being the negative person.
Yeah, you're it today. Let's go. Own it. Own it.
Dimitri's not here.
Hello,
So.
but this is the question. About 3/4 of the way through the movie, or halfway, we learn that Danny Collins might not be rich anymore.
Yeah, that was weird. You're
no,
right.
it's not that he might not be rich. It's he might not have it.
No, like he doesn't have the funds that he used to.
He has to make some choices.
Yes.
He has to make some choices. And then we bring back in Weird Fiancé storyline. And there's been no change. I was like, I expected her to either, yes, she came back in and was the relapse. If she's going to come back in, then why wasn't she dealt with? I don't know.
The first
I don't
time.
understand.
That's
I missed the
exactly what
point.
I'm saying. I was like, he should have cut ties with her the first time.
Or at least
But
when
that doesn't change the
But
fact
it's a
that
movie.
there was just like
Well,
all these
exactly, you
things
gotta-
that I just found like
But that makes perfect
she's having
sense.
a honeymoon.
He's saying, no, he canceled his tour. He didn't know that the tour that Frank put together was his swan song. So
Right.
and he just spent I don't know how many oodles of money for the grandkid. So he's going, look, you're spending way beyond your means now because we don't have as much as you think. And not only that, you canceled the tour.
Right.
So
I'm not
cool your jets, bud.
I'm not even just saying that because I actually do have a problem with that in general. I'm talking specifically about the fiance who, meanwhile, this whole movie has been spending all of his money in LA
Right.
on this honeymoon that has never been addressed. I'm talking about how is this realistic that, oh, wait, I have someone spending tons
hang
of
on a
money in Los Angeles.
If you think you have more money than God,
Yeah, then you're like, sure.
And let's not forget, but the man is an addict. They do stupid things. How many addicts do you know that don't take care of
But he
business
has
because you
not
think you have more than you
He
need?
has not made the decision yet. He finds out that he's supposed to cut back because
Right.
he's not going to do the tour.
Yeah.
So he should be living in the realization that maybe he doesn't have all the money he has.
I agree with you on that. And again, I go that, but you're thinking that's a rational thought, and I'm like, this guy's not rational at all.
Yeah, he's not
yet.
looking after who has credit cards and who's using them.
So he's not rational, he's an addict, but at the same time, he's rational enough or mature enough to handle the fiance and be like, actually be with your...
Well, yeah, but no, I didn't say it was
don't
rational. I'm just saying it was cool and mature in that moment.
Okay.
But it was stupid to keep. Yeah, go ahead, go have
Yeah,
fun.
stay in my
And
house.
let her- I mean, 'cause-
Yeah.
and spend all my money.
And
then 2 weeks
exactly.
later,
But
I'm
I'll
like,
wear
I
Banana
don't
Republic
have-
suits now
But
while you
I'm
spend
just
money.
gonna
She was
posit the
gonna
idea
cause
that
a problem.
Exactly. No, but that's exactly my
That
point.
was
It's
actually
like,
funny to me.
Which
I was
one?
kind of like,
Yeah,
the Banana Republic
when he shows up in his
Yeah.
Banana Republic suit that like didn't quite fit him, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, we're doing a drastic, like, you're a rock star to like now you can't even afford a tailored suit. Like we're really just. That was funny to me. I was like, I don't know if I believe that portion, but yeah,
just because he had the Lee Trevino suit on.
Well,
Is that
you
what
know,
mean?
it was just like you went from like everything is like you're
But it was
looking-
ridiculous.
It
he
was
looked
ridiculous.
like a clown.
It was.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he
well,
look
he looked
like
a clown still?
That's my
yeah,
point.
Okay. He went from
Just
one
in-
kind of clown to another.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, if you could look like a clown there, and you just look like a lower class clown here.
It was like a clown for one night, though, and then I was
but
like,
that was
and then-
because he was dressing it down for a small bar thing. He's not on big, huge stage with tons of people.
small
of course, he's
venue.
dressing it down.
Yeah, but I guess, you know, I've seen rock concerts in small venues with epic musicians, right? And they don't dress down. They dress in the same level of Halloween costumes.
They wear that every day.
Yeah, they wear it every day.
But here's
also
the thing: how
that
do you
goes
show
back
part of
to-
his arc by not doing that? If you have him dressed in the same thing, he's not going
Well, that's
anywhere
true.
along
In
his
the
arc.
movie, I guess, yeah.
So-
that's valid.
Yeah,
How was
but
it
that
not
also
part of his
adds to
dark?
his character because even in the hotel scene when he's asking them, the manager and the girl, and he's going to see his
How do I look?
his son. How do I look?
Yeah.
You look ridiculous. He's like, really? So it's like that's his character type, you know. He.
But here's the thing: he knows
doesn't
he's
dress
ridiculous.
for like popularity. He just dresses for himself.
Well, he knows he's ridiculous. He said so to Frank. He knows that hanging out with this, this fiance that's half his age, he looks like a clown. He knows that.
Yep.
He knows that going in. So, but he knows that he gets by on his charm. So when she says, "Yeah, you look ridiculous in your outfit,"
I look good.
it's all
Yeah, right.
Because that's what's made. That is what has that showman is the guy who he became to leave the other one behind. That's it.
That's true. I see that.
I don't blame someone for becoming the showman. I think that is a very accurate thing that you do have to give. I liked the theme of kind of having to give into what the public wants of you to remain relevant or to continue having an audience. I thought that is a very true pressure that's put on artists. What I didn't really fully see him lose all of that.
Lose which part? I'm sorry.
Like, if his character arc, it starts from this first scene of being a brilliant lyricist who's timid and shy or whatever, to showman who is bringing out the songs that people want to hear that are cheesy, and he does his razzle dazzle moves and he's happy, and then we lose that because supposedly he's going to become this he's going to become a lyricist again. We didn't drop all the way into that character.
No, we didn't.
Never,
No.
not at all. I wouldn't. That to me
That
was
was
too
my
big of a
problem.
thing. I wouldn't believe that.
Then why did we even have that?
Yeah.
Because the
that was
idea
my
is the
problem.
possibility of that. It wasn't that. I mean, if you had wrapped it up in too much of a bow, people would be pissed off at that because, oh, yeah, I'm going to believe all of a sudden he became that guy again after 40 years living like a showman?
Not possible.
I don't think so.
Right.
No, but like that's what I had problems with the character. We spent so many scenes of him trying to write this song and getting notes and feedback on it, and like now adding music and composing to it, and then even the added element of now you get to perform it live, and you don't. His character never got to that
exactly.
point.
But it's not about
him
that.
as a singer in his singing career didn't grow, didn't have that full arc.
No, but I don't think. But see, I think the mistake is that it's not about whether or not he can do the song on stage. He thinks it is, but the redemptive moment is the fact that he can have a relationship with his son. And that's the redemptive scene is in the hospital at the end when it's real quiet and he's just trying to be a father for his son. That's it.
See, but
that's the redemption.
That's the thing. That wasn't redeeming enough for me personally because I never believed that he was a bad caretaker, a bad friend. I didn't think he didn't have the potential to be a good father. I thought that was always within him, so that wasn't changing.
Really? You didn't think that the fact that he was never there and then allowed the mom to just say, screw you, go away? He just decided to leave for 40 years and then he's...
No,
and then
But
you
that's
think
the
he's...
thing, because like
good
we
story.
never got the story of why he didn't even.
Yeah, he
see
did. He
his
said it in the
son.
bus.
Yeah,
He said it
he
in
said that
the
he sent
bus.
the mom money and she kept refusing.
Yeah, and then
his-
he just dropped it.
His justification was that he thought he would be better off without him.
Right.
More or
Right.
less, which
But-
I
but
get as
okay,
a cheap
so
shot.
throughout the whole movie, every time we see the son, he's always giving.
Yes,
giving
but
and
gi-
giving,
but not-
and then at the end, we
but it's
just
all-
see him being caring
it's
again.
all
I was like, yeah,
superficial
we
stuff.
see it.
See, but I didn't feel that way, especially because I knew that, like, we get the story from his manager at the end, that he sent the water bottles for his whole life. These are all caretaker moments. I never once in this movie, I thought that Danny Collins was a good guy. A good guy who would make a lot of stupid choices and was an addict, but a good guy. This child wasn't forced down his throat. This guy, his son didn't come to him being like, I'm sick, I need money now, can you be there for me? He went out and found his son at almost the top of the movie, who we know he's found before. So to me that says, this guy...
How do we know he found it before?
he said that when he was talking to Jennifer Garner's character, he said that he did track him down a couple years ago.
Yeah, and again, didn't have the guts to do anything about it.
I guess just
so that shows that to me told a lot, and the fact that he wasn't willing to do it then, and all he's doing now is lip service and saying, "Oh well, at least I can try to buy my way in." That's what he's doing. He's buying his way in, and I go, "That's not real. That's not. Yeah, that's helpful and everything like that, but he's manipulating their affections for their daughter."
But he's not I didn't feel like he was manipulating them, saying like, "All I'm ever going to give you is money." I felt like it was like, this is a strategy because I know you can't turn down the money. You might be able to turn down my love and affection.
And that's okay with you, though. That kind of manipulation is fine, because I'm just saying it's an unredemptive quality. To use your affections for your child in a manipulative way, so you won't hate me.
I guess the other question is,
I find that extremely manipulative.
How else, if you really want to be involved, if Danny really wanted to be involved in his son's life, and his son is shutting the door on him,
I'm not saying it's not effective. I'm just saying it's extremely manipulative.
What strategy kind of wouldn't be manipulative?
Well, you could employ all kinds of strategies. Instead of using money, you could say,
I'm going to write you a song every day.
No, you could talk to him. You could try every day to go to his work and talk to him. Let me just have 5 minutes. You can do all kinds of things.
Okay.
That's all. I'm just saying that.
I just didn't feel like it was someone being like, here's my money and that's enough.
Of course not. He's not going to cage it like that.
Right, now.
But that we do see in films. We do see characters who are like, this is enough. We'll
let's face it. When his son tells him he's going to die, the first thing he says, "Oh, damn it! I just made." His first thought is himself.
Yeah.
And that, I mean,
but
I'm just saying.
He realized it at that point. Too.
Yeah,
He's like, oh wait,
but again,
it's not about me.
Yeah, because he was caught because his son looks at him like, "That's your first thought." Oh shit! Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, how selfish and narcissistic do you want the guy?
But they've already also shown that quality. If you look at Annette Bening's character, who uses that exact same kind of idea, where we believe that Annette Bening has a good head on her shoulders and is a smart and eloquent woman who we want him to be with, kind of. And they're at the bar, and she's like, "I've had a horrible day," and he's like, "I've had a horrible day," and she's like, "I had to put in all these things manually," and he goes, "Well, my son hates me," and she goes, "Well, I had put all my things in manually." It's, yes, we know that she feels bad for him and has nothing to say, but she does kind of bring it back to herself, and he in the bus brings it back to himself, and it's like, but wait, I
don't understand your point at all. So what was that? I'm not exactly sure the point you're making.
I guess for me, it's just that I don't think it's a bad quality that he was necessarily for a split second, well, wow, how could this get any worse for me? Because he does turn the tables. Because somebody just told you they're gonna die. And your thought is about you, not them. It was for a split second for him.
Only because his son looked at him weird. If he hadn't looked at him weird, he wouldn't have realized he'd made a mistake or that he was selfish.
And I don't know if I believe that. I think that
really, you think he'd be self-aware aware enough to days later or hours later go, I really shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You do? I don't know how you would think that.
Well, he's already trying to make amends.
Yeah,
he's trying
already
to
emotionally available there.
Better.
He's already still sitting in this bus with this guy. I guess I am tending to side with him that I think he's there for some part of a good reason.
And that part is commendable, sure. But again, he's not really doing it in a selfless way. It's all about what he wants. It's not for them. He's only doing it to get to recapture some redemption in his life, not because they, first and foremost, for them. And I'm saying that's the arc of him. At the end, he's not there for the kid. I mean, he's not there for himself. He's there for the kid.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
That's a selfless act.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's a huge, major, massive arc, because it isn't. I agree with you on that part. But I don't think for a second that this guy had redeeming qualities. He was nice and he was charming, but that was all, hey, smoke and mirrors, just like his act.
What about the water storyline with his manager?
I'm talking about with his manager, he had a real relationship with, and then you could see the depth of a relationship that could be, the possibility of what could be if he got his heart out of his ass. But with his kid, he hadn't had that. He hadn't created that yet. So those, all the other stuff for me was just buying affection, just trying to, please don't throw me away yet. Hang on. I'll wear you down just like I'm going to wear Mary down. She'll finally go to dinner with me. But in the end there, I think that was a genuine moment, and it just showed me there's a possibility. Not a huge arc, but there's a possibility that this showman asshole that has no redemption in his life might have a real relationship with his son.
I guess that for me, yes, I do believe he can have a relationship with his son. I guess I felt that earlier, especially at the end when we do get the water storyline. We do get him giving the John Lennon letter to Annette Bening. All of these are gifts that I felt came from a very selfless place. And they were established. I mean, the one with his friend was established over time.
Yeah.
So I didn't. For me,
but you didn't know that till the end of the movie. So
I guess what I maybe needed, I guess what could have helped me get there maybe a little bit quicker or on your page was if I had an example earlier on of him not being able to give a gift or something, because there was nothing that told me he couldn't do it.
Well, the gifts, he could give everybody gifts. He had so much
meaningful.
Here's a
handful of time.
The thing that would have worked better for me, and this is the part that pisses me off more than anything, is that they didn't, and I think this is where you and I share on the same page. He didn't anywhere, I'm talking about Dan Fogelman, did not mind the depths of this anger and bitterness and acrimony between father and son that he could have, and that really pissed me off, because then it would have really reached some depths that I think that you would have appreciated, and they would have earned those moments. I think that's what you're going for. At least that's my assertion.
Maybe
that you're going for.
I can tip my hat to that and say
because
yes,
that's going. God, if he had really dug deep in those things.
The silver lining to that point, though, is the fact that we got to see an actor, the gentleman who plays Lincoln's son in this,
Bobby Cannavale.
Yes, thank you. I was forgetting his name. A lot of people kind of put on him the more of a meathead or lose his temper type of role, whether he got that from Boardwalk Empire or whatnot. He walks on the screen and you kind of expect him to blow up.
Yep.
So it was a silver lining for him that he didn't have to do that. And we got to see him with a different strategy as an actor. I was like,
you'd think he'd go this way.
Yes, you cast me as something that most people wouldn't.
Well, I
just wanted to, especially in that bus scene, I wanted that scene was good, but I wanted it
to be grittier.
That was a long scene too. You think there'd be I just don't think they really.
Yeah, I wanted the nerves to be much more raw in those scenes.
I thought they did an okay job with that, in the sense that he speaks to the fact that he wants to not be anything like his father, the concept of his father. So I guess in his mind, trying to keep the cool head and not blow up, because I thought he did a great job in sort of showing that he just may blow up. I mean, at least that's how I felt. I thought, oh no, maybe he's going to punch his dad, or I don't know, because it underneath his eyes I saw rage and I saw anger and I saw.
Let me speak to this point, being the only male on the panel at the moment who has a very difficult and complicated relationship with a father.
Okay.
You want something much more roiling and boiling underneath, at least in my expert opinion.
Like, based on my relationship,
most guys I know are going, no, that's not close.
Okay, so why do you think they didn't get to that point, though?
I don't know exactly. Maybe they did. Maybe they edited for time. I don't know.
But
who knows?
I don't think time had anything to do with it. That was like the longest scene throughout the whole film. It was just like 7 minutes.
I have to say that in that scene I'm going,
I don't think it was time.
That's it? That's not anywhere near what I think we would be at here. Because usually between males and fathers you have complicated fists are going to go. They may not, but it looks like they're about to at any moment. And I never got to that point in that scene. But it did work for you in that regard.
think maybe if they did get to that point, it wouldn't have the son be as accepting for the father's help throughout his treatment.
I know, and that's, to me, it was another site that I wished I had seen more. I wanted them to fight harder. It was a little too easy for me that coming together. But here's the thing: in some regards, I gave it a pass because the guy's dying. At some point, he's going to go, I don't care about. I'm dying. I've got a wife and kid that I'm worried about more than about my father.
Right.
So I got that. Some of it, he just who cares?
The stakes
I
were
don't
higher.
have time to worry about that.
Yeah.
But I also thought, even in that scene, that bus scene, when he lets out that he's dying, I'm going, what? And I did come out of the blue, and I'm going, it would have been just much better as I'm out here talking to you. Of all the people I don't want to say this to, I should be in there, and I don't have the balls to do it. And then it would have made sense to me, because it's on the tip of him. It's the only, and he has no one else to talk about this to except this asshole. And that would have made much more sense to me, but you didn't really get that.
You definitely did not get that. No.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't have the balls to tell his wife is the same balls his dad doesn't have to go out there and play the right song.
That's what bothered me also, because when we do have the reveal that he does have that and his wife finds out, we didn't even see that whole scene of him telling the wife. We just get the aftermath of it. And I was like, because it was the whole build-up. Tell your wife she doesn't know. And then she finally knows, and we never saw it.
Yeah, but why did you need to see it? She's the best wife in the world. How is that going to go? It's going to go, I understand. Eventually, it's just going to go, I understand.
There's going to be a lot of crying.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
let's cry.
That's in the special
things.
features on the DVD, that scene.
But again, Sarah, to your point, some things didn't have their payoff.
But I don't need that payoff. I mean, he's not the major character.
He's not a major.
He's
But
not
that
the
was a
main
major
character.
story.
But that is a
plot.
major plot point to
Yeah,
add.
but how does that have
someone
anything
has-
to do with Danny Collins' arc? It has nothing to do with his arc, but how he tells his wife.
True, but to me that's kind of like brushing things aside, that we spent a chunk of this movie that we had to have an excuse for them to be together
But
and be
here's the
forced
thing.
alone together. So we're going to force them
I
to stay
disagree
in this
completely
hotel.
because
I thought they did it okay.
here's what it was: that the fact that he outed his son in front of his wife
Yeah, that
is
was
the
epic.
arc point.
Yeah.
I don't care how they resolve it. The fact that he, at his lowest point, laid his son out like that in front of his wife, that's the arc point. That's the point you need. I don't care how they resolved it, because what has that got to do with Danny Collins?
Not much, but to me it was a story that they brought to the forefront and made me interested in. And then they didn't care about me enough to tell me how it was going.
See,
Yeah.
and I thought, wow, that's how wounded and horrible this guy is, that he outs his son.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
That was
That was
for
not
me,
okay.
That was the whole
cold.
reason for the storyline, is to see him in his death doing the worst thing possible. And I'm going, yeah, nice job.
That was pretty awful. That
After
was,
spending all this time
And that's what
building a
drunks do.
somewhat of a
Speaking
relationship
of-
with family.
What's in this cup?
Not as a drunk myself.
No, I will give it that scene when he does hit rock bottom. I was wondering when that was going to happen. I was also
Yeah.
wondering if we were going to see, like, if this guy has been an addict for 40 years or
yeah,
whatnot,
yeah.
where's the withdrawal?
Right.
Where's the...
That's right.
Well, they
'Cause he goes
hearken
cold.
to it. I mean, when he
Cold
tells
turkey.
Frank, he's going, "Well, you're drinking now," and he goes, "Yeah, let's not talk about that." So I just assumed that, yeah, he's not really kicking this cold turkey. He's having a drink or two.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
even when he says, "Look, I want to go and have a drink right there, Mary, but I'm going to go upstairs and say," I don't assume for a second that he's not having a drink or two. Because he even says, "We're going to leave the liquor out of that." He says basically, "I'm going to cut everything else. I'm not going to quit booze."
Right.
Yeah. But I see it
I
as
didn't
a way to
expect
cleaning
the-
himself
him
up.
cleaning himself up, even if not even... I'm okay with the booze. Okay, got it. You're going to keep that. But we didn't see any, like, temptation, except for the one breaking point for, like, the drugs he's been on for years and years and carries around his neck. Not a second of it. That's a little strange to me.
Well, it isn't if you're drinking booze to get you
To
through.
level it off. Yeah.
I think
Yes.
the point in
You haven't been
that
around
scene
enough
that
addicts, have you?
really...
You haven't been in around anywhere near enough.
I'm
addicts.
just saying that we do get, in the midst of him struggle for sobriety, we have a section that supposedly takes a couple of days, if not weeks, where he's staying in a hotel room with his son, that causes them to bond and get closer. I expected to see a little bit more trouble for him there.
Oh, I
Like,
totally
it was,
agree.
It was all
I thought it was way too
cherry
easy.
and peace and let's watch sports and
Yeah.
eat chicken noodle soup
Way
and I'm gonna
too
get
easy.
mad about your uncle and the worms of noodles. But I didn't see any, like, I can't get drunk, like, Dad, you're
Yeah.
getting too drunk. I didn't see any,
I
like, I
completely
need
agree.
my withdrawals right now because this isn't working with my son. Or, like, I just found out that this leukemia test isn't going well.
Yeah.
I didn't see there's the elephant in the room of, like, he wants it and is being drawn to it in this very intense situation. All I saw was, oh wait, they're blood related, so they have to get along somewhere.
No, I thought Bobby Cannavale did a good job of, like, contrast. I mean, yes, that scene could have been much more extreme than it was, but at the same time, you know, this movie was already running on 2 hours, and it's like, you know, how much...
No, it's 106.
What was it?
It's 106 is the runtime.
146.
Yeah, I was like, when I started
Yeah,
yesterday...
106 minutes.
Oh.
I'm sorry, 1 hour and 46 minutes.
Well, okay, so almost 2 hours. It was like, it was running.
I thought you meant like 1 hour and 6
No,
minutes. I was like,
no, 106 minutes.
And with all the previews, I was there for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, like, so... but I mean, it was a long movie, I thought. I mean, I thought like I was sitting there for a while. Then again, I don't know. I can watch 3-hour movies and feel like it wasn't long. And I thought that scene had little... I mean, he did a lot with his eyes. He told us a lot with his eyeballs, like reacting to things that his father was saying. And I thought that those things were effective, and me going, wow, you're thoroughly annoyed at your father right now. You don't want to be in a room with him. You think he is totally disturbing. And I at least that's the impression I got. And that was enough for me to understand that, you know, he's there because his father has come in and paid for all these things, and is, you know, he doesn't really have a choice because his wife doesn't know at that point.
I think they could have made a
is.
better job of telling the idea that I think they missed this point. He has no one else. He can't tell
there
his
you go.
wife.
Right.
And the only one that can help him to be any kind of company or solace in this is this guy. And I think they didn't tell that story enough.
Oh, I guess I felt that. It was like, I think I believe that.
He had the neighbor Steve.
Right.
Ray.
And his lawnmower.
Whatever his name is.
No, Danny calls him Ray. You'll always be Ray to me. So
that was charming.
But that's where I think that they could have done a better job of actually laying it out. They could have done some nicer, because for me that was the biggest flaw in the movie. If they had done a better job of mining the depths
of
and
that
that's why I
relationship.
said it is exactly Danny Collins. It's kind of like a lot of show and glitz, and it unfortunately doesn't have the depth I would want it to, that it could have.
Right.
If they had done that, I think it would have been much more successful.
I think for the physical and visual element of the lowest point in Danny's career in life, when all that went down, was the lines on top of the actual letter.
Oh, yeah.
The letter that helped change who he is and go on this path of redemption and whatnot, and then get to that point where it's literally being degraded in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, like, I personally, as a viewer, like, got affected. I was like, okay, he's hit rock bottom again. Now he has to build himself up again.
And a lot of people kind of criticize that. They've criticized the daughter's name being Hope.
Oh,
the granddaughter's name being Hope.
Yes.
The marquee says Danny Collins sold out. I mean, they think that some of it was too on the nose and stuff like that. I'm going, I
Too on the nose.
Yeah, there you go.
More so in
But, you know, I thought, for the most part, it worked well.
Hold it in.
So.
Yeah, no, I did too. I thought for the most part, it was charming. And I really do think that scene at the end, it really showed that Bobby Cannavale had done, like, he had arced, right? So this whole movie, he was being super resistant to this notion of a relationship with his father, even though he was, you know, giving in
Death
to...
changes you.
Certainly it does. And health issues change you, and the notion that you could die and you have a family to take care of, all these things affect you. And here you have a man that's really, really giving, I don't know, he's giving his all to his son in that
doing
moment.
His best. I still don't think he's not very good at it yet, but he's doing his best.
Like, with all the notes, how charming.
Well, we brought up Hope, and her and Jennifer Garner are my favorite characters.
She was so cute.
Forget it.
She was
I'm over the
so
moon.
cute.
I say,
Yes.
As soon as she came on screen, I go, I'm
right.
all over her.
Yep.
Yeah, she was
fantastic.
I was like, I did think that the Hope lines were a little spot on the nose, but like that she was so cute and like had that energy that just...
You're like, fine.
I was like,
yeah. I'll let it
She's
pass.
such a Hope. That is exactly what her name should be.
If I were Danny Collins, I'd be giving her all kinds of things.
But also, like,
anybody.
She's a lovable...
Let's go.
But she's a lovable character that Danny was forced to realize, this is what I missed out on, and this is what I want to be a part of now. So I really like that... her character, and also just
casting.
Al Pacino and that girl. A lot of their scenes are improvised because you know she is a kid and she just
by
like
drawing and he's talking to her.
Yep.
I mean,
so that's
so
what
cute.
I really felt that was genuine.
You spoke about casting, and I think that was one of the strengths of this movie.
Yeah.
Who they cast and how they cast it.
I thought it was spot on. Yeah.
Let's talk about who they were gonna cast.
Yeah, because I'm a little confused. I think that there was a little bit of crisscross information where people were trying to say that Steve Carell was cast, but he was supposed to be cast as the son.
As Bobby,
correct.
The son, Bobby Cannavale character.
Yes. Huh. Which is interesting. I mean, the director or writer has a relationship with him from Crazy Stupid Love. So I could see how that conversation could have been brought up.
Sure.
That obviously didn't work out because he's not in the movie. And we did end up with, I feel like, a very, very solid
There's also got to be
cast.
Jeremy Renner for a time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And then
I think they
Julianne
did
Moore
right.
was going to be Mary.
Oh. No, I actually, I'm trying to picture this in my mind in these 10 seconds that I just heard this, and I feel like they did right with whom they went with.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think how the cast turned out worked out really well.
Yeah.
I'm I think Annette Bening was so engaging.
She was so
to
cute.
watch.
Yeah.
Exactly. She was very cute. I was expecting her to be a little bit more of like a hard ass.
Right.
And she was so sweet, and she kept laughing. Like, she kept giggling throughout the whole movie, and I was just like, this
charming.
is exactly.
It
and
was
I
charming.
and I bought why they were interested in each other.
They had good banter.
Yeah, but beyond that, like, because I was speaking to someone the other day, if he walks in, he's just this total, like, over the top crazy person, then what draws her to him? Because she is not supposed to be the one who's not drawn into it by money.
Right.
And it was that he had this, like, kind of heart underneath, and he kept being persistent. And she was like, oh, maybe it's not just everything that comes easy to you. And I was like, oh, maybe she does value that he's still interested. And then for him, of course, that she could keep up, that she was different than all of these other women, that she wasn't.
She just wasn't a washed up drug addict.
She was
Young
ungettable,
thing.
and she didn't put up with
job.
his shit.
Right.
Yes.
He was like, well, this is refreshing. Yeah.
She was productive.
She was productive. She had a job.
Exactly.
She didn't have busy work. You know, I mean, busy work. Anyway, yeah, no.
Well, we've talked at length about the script. We got to move on to other things. Let's talk about Dan Fogelman, the
Fogelberg.
director. Sorry, since this
He'll
is
be here next week.
Music. So, did you like the direction? Did you did it get in the way? Were you happy with it? Any thoughts?
I was fine. I mean, honestly, the only issue I had was that one scene in the bar where we're getting a lot of background about Danny and Mary, and they were like getting drunk in the bar. That was the only part where I was like, okay, they're doing this on purpose. But the direction, I think, as a whole, I mean, I really thought he pieced together like I said, a charming film. I'm sticking with it.
What do you guys think on that end of the table?
I don't really think there was problem in direction, because I could easily understand where everybody was going to. They had a certain path for everybody. Mm-hmm. I think my problem was more for the story, and because he wrote and directed this, but I didn't really see any problem with direction, and especially this being his directorial debut. So
I think he pushed a little bit hard for the emotional scenes. I felt that a couple of them were too frequent and weren't earned enough. I think that when family dramas, you're going to have moments that get you. To me, they were a little too often. It just that some of them lost it. Like I wasn't teary-eyed because I was expecting it to happen, because he just kept with these emotional scenes.
Kept doing what? I'm sorry.
He just kept putting in all these, like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you to cry scenes, and then I was expecting them. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like they were earned. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was because we didn't get the grittiness, we didn't get the bottom. It's hard for me to pinpoint exactly. Give me a minute and I'll come up with what I'm trying to say. John?
Well, I can only disagree slightly because I thought Dan put together a great team. I thought he handled it in the direction well. I thought he told the story well, but I do feel like I wanted more out of the story, but it wasn't enough where it bothered me horribly where I didn't, because there was enough there where I went, okay, he made that work, missed, but hey, that one worked. So overall, I thought for the most part it worked well. I really do wish, but that's a story point. And I guess a little bit on the direction point. I don't think he forced too much, although I understand there were times when it did, because it certainly felt that way to me. But overall, I just thought he told a very simple story, and he told it well. It wasn't brilliant, but it made me go, hey, I want to see what else this guy... Because I really enjoyed Crazy Stupid Love. It's nice to see what he did behind the camera as a director. It makes me want to know, okay, well, I want to see what else this guy can do. Because I think only from this experience, I would imagine the next one, he'll bring in a lot more.
I agree. I think that...
I'm excited about that.
I'm really excited for his next one. I think that I really liked Crazy Stupid Love as well. I think that he has a lot of potential. I think that his stories do tend to go for some unexpected things. Yeah. He has an openness to different characters,
and
which I
that one
find
wasn't
very
forced at all for you, was it? Yeah, no. to me either. And I agree. I think I just liked this one better than you did. But Crazy Stupid Love, the way that one laid out and the way that was written, that was just almost seamless.
I like his openness to character.
Yeah.
I like how he will include something a little different. Like in this movie, he had between Danny Collins' son and Jennifer Garner, like they had a very happy, functional relationship where they had kids and they loved each other and they had this sturdiness that I thought was a fun take. I liked that nothing was really breaking them, especially when a time that they could be broken. I liked how she dealt with Danny Collins coming in. I liked his whole approach to their family. I liked his approach to Annette Bening's character.
Even the kids or the teenagers that he dealt with.
That was so cute. Oy vey. I was like, oh no, are you giving him that car? Really? Oh wow. Okay, I guess.
I wanted them to be in high
you
school and not college because I was like, they have a little more brains than this.
Okay.
College.
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
But I will give it to Dan as a director.
You're right. Yeah,
yes,
so.
I will give it to Dan as a director because every week he had the cast come to Al Pacino's house and they would watch like all the footage in Al Pacino's
while they were
backyard.
Shooting?
While they were shooting, like every week they would go over the footage and then like he would get directions and notes and comments and edits from the actual cast. So like the cast had their own input into the film while they were still making the movie.
That's impressive. So maybe that's why we're unsatisfied with some of the direction.
So, yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's also maybe why we got a little bit
you think you took too many notes?
Too many of the
all over the
emotional
place
scenes because actors are like, oh, I felt it.
Well, let's put it this way: at a $10 million budget, you might have to give something to get something.
True.
So maybe that was part of the deal.
All right.
So he took a lot of direction from other people as well, not just himself.
But he's still responsible for the whole thing. So however he came there, he came there.
That's true. That's true.
But him as a director being allowed to be willing to work with other people to make something.
And heck, if I was a first-time director, I'm going to get collaboration from Al Pacino and Annette Bening. Yeah, why not? Bring him in, absolutely. Sure, come on over. Tell me what you think. Yeah, I would do that.
Bring popcorn.
Absolutely.
No.
Why not?
Every week in Al Pacino's backyard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some filmmaking? Come on.
I like it.
So
that's cool.
All right. What about, since this is a lot about music, what do we think of the score? You already, Alison had mentioned the Lennon using the...
I thought they just used it well. So if we look back on what songs they used for what scenes, it was like, oh, double meaning. Double meaning.
That they had so many... I'm saying, how did they get these? How did they get these?
Someone's connected to Yoko.
One of the producers, Jesse, what's her name?
And you leverage that when you can, right?
Jesse Nelson.
Yeah.
So she knows Yoko. I don't know. Apparently they're friends or acquaintances.
Yeah.
So Jesse Nelson took the rough cut with songs in it.
Yeah, and said, "Hey, can I do this?"
Let Yoko see it, and Yoko liked the movie and liked the way the songs were used, and she gave her okay.
There you go.
So that's it. It's like, and I'm going, damn, it pays to know people because that
certainly it does.
So hard to get that, and if you did get them, it would cost you
a fortune.
A lot. And they had 9 original John Lennon songs.
Masters.
That's a lot.
Yep,
9. People have a hard time getting one.
That was impressive, and it did certainly added a lot to the film for sure.
I thought it was funny though that they really only played us one of the Danny Collins hits. You know, here's the only one you're getting, and it sounds like a Neil Diamond song. That's about it. I guess that could be it too. But even maybe the first one, whatever that initial song was.
I was quite happy with Just Lonely God.
Oh, you're like, I don't need any more.
There was a point when they panned to his record albums or something, and it was Danny Collins on the Rocks, Danny Collins Baby Doll,
Greatest Hits 1.
Danny Collins.
No, Greatest Hits 3. Right. He's got 3 greatest hits. Oh my God!
When they referred to his earlier albums, I was like, do I really want to hear those songs? Nope. We can stick with them.
I was curious.
I wanted to hear the songs before he came.
I feel like they should have done that. Actually,
I thought that would have been very interesting.
I agree with you.
Because then you would have heard the
contrast
potential
too,
and heard, oh my God, and he ended
wow,
up
he sold out. Right.
Exactly.
We needed that contrast.
What about hearing the song he wrote?
I mean, that also had a lot of meaning. So, the words that he wrote,
It didn't do anything for me. I was like, really?
See,
this is the best.
And that was my problem because it could have been
yeah.
a great song, but we didn't really get the allotted time that we should have to really focus on the song and how it applies to his life now.
So, and I, for me, it gave me enough because it was about him making the effort. He hadn't made the full arc in terms of the artistic world, and it wasn't really about his artistic world. We never got to see him perform it, I get why we didn't, and I didn't need it.
Yeah.
And I also get why we never got a full rendition of that song because he's incomplete yet.
Right.
He's only complete in the personal side, and not even complete, but the possibility there with the kid.
It's me like you're gonna say that's complete.
No, it's not. It's not complete. I'm just saying that. But that for me was the redemptive thing, not the music. The music thing. That's how it started out. That's his want, but it's not his need. His want is to try to. Excuse me. get back to his roots.
No, his need. John is trying to say, now that I have the opportunity to put words in his mouth, this is so much fun. John is trying to say that what he really wanted was to do a selfless act in order to be be which was to show up at the hospital.
No.
Oh.
He's like, no, that's not what I wanted to
From
say.
From a writing standpoint, his want is his exterior goal, which is I want to get back to the writing.
The creative space.
What made me start there.
Yeah.
But the inner goal.
Going with arc.
It is. I'm talking about his inner goal, his need. In terms of writing, his need is the thing that the redemptive quality that he had to make with his son. By going for your outer need, you find your inner need.
Did you read the lyrics that he wrote down? Do you guys remember what it said?
I don't know. He changed them so many times.
So the ones the one that they really focused on, where they zoomed in when they were doing like a montage shot of everything. The words were "walking blind upon this road in search of higher ground. Don't look back."
Don't look back and then don't look down.
So in that way. They wanted us to see that for a reason, right? The meaning behind all that, and I went with it. I was like, all right, more meaning,
it works. You
more
can't
meaning.
Look back. It all works. I just didn't. The song never reached me.
Oh, right, yeah. It certainly wasn't going to be, I don't know, like a top 10 hit or anything, but
I like those type of songs, though. Like
there you go. She'll buy
the
it.
simple ones that have more meaning. And it has the music and passion and artistic value to it than actual.
It wasn't
money
great
making.
contrast to the commercial hits that hit.
Oh,
that
yes.
we say. It wasn't
Oh,
good contrast.
yes.
You didn't like that one by the end?
No.
You talking about the one he wrote?
No, I'm talking about the
Sweet Baby Doll? Hey, Baby Doll?
It was. I was like, of course it's gonna be that. Of course it's gonna be that because that's who he is. It makes sense. What else could it be?
I was like, oy vey. I just kept thinking, oh dear.
And if he wasn't that cheesy character that, if you had just heard that and didn't know anything else, it would be catchy enough where you'd hum it.
You probably would, because I think it's in my brain right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to admit.
But that was the start of his relapse, because it's like he's going back to the stage. He's singing the same songs that he was before he tried to change.
He doesn't have the courage yet.
Like it was like literally the start of his relapse.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to talk about costume for a second because I thought the costuming was amazing because I thought Danny Collins was such a wonderful clown. He was even wearing striped suits.
He reminded me of rock stars that we see photographed.
Yeah.
That's their getup.
This close to being just ridiculous costume.
Yeah.
I thought that
it was perfect.
He looked with the stupid scarves.
It was perfect. It was kind of like
the hair piled up and the bronzer.
Oh, yeah.
It was. I'd say, oh my God, what a character.
It was like an amalgamation of like all these big musicians that we know, like little Keith Richards here and a little Tom Petty there, and it was. Yeah, I thought they did a great job with the costuming.
Every time he was wearing something ridiculous, like, oh, nice.
Yeah, nice. Well done, Danny. Yeah.
You're not thrilled.
She's like, no.
It's just that he doesn't care. He really doesn't.
Every time I'm just thinking about the wrap he puts on in the beginning.
Oh, right.
Velcro thing.
That was nice. Nice touch.
The girdle.
It's the man version of Spanx. Yes.
Nice.
Trying to be
Suck
young.
it in.
So you're talking about what he's wearing, and that's what's going through my head every time you say that.
Oh my
All right.
God, ridiculous.
That's the costume.
I also thought the locations, the house he had,
Oh,
and
man.
wherever it was.
Wow.
Hello, wine cellar. Hello,
Wonderfully-
elevator. Yeah, that was fantastic.
It was just so great.
Stunning.
It was a caricature, and I thought that was terrific too.
You're like, well, that's a rock star's house.
Did you like it though when he took the stairs over the elevator?
Yeah.
Hey, he's
The
growing.
change has started.
Yeah.
Well, I also like
He realized he had belly and he
juxtaposition.
wanted exercise.
He
maybe.
goes, he's out there. I mean, I love the shot coming out on stage, and you're seeing the crowd. You kind of get a feel for what it's like to come out on stage, like to have thousands of people adore you at the Greek Theater right before Chicago plays. But whatever, that's, and then you go home and it's empty and soulless and meaningless, and it's got all kinds of
Stuff.
form and no substance,
Yep.
and even your supposed fiance is kind of vapid. And, the way they decided to
Showcase,
reveal her,
yes.
if I may, with her grooming habits, I thought was like, okay, great.
Here we are.
And I'm like, what are you doing with this woman? She poses no.
But it's exactly who
importance to
he
your
is
life.
with his stupid hair,
Yeah,
and
all
his
of it.
bronzer. It's exactly.
I thought it was funny too, and how they injected, Christopher Plummer talking about all of it, like his funny comments about they both knew it was not the relationship for him, and that was super obvious.
It was
we knew
exactly the relationship because that's who he was then.
No, but I feel like
vapid and stupid.
I mean, yeah,
you
it's
don't
like.
think so? You don't think he was stupid?
I have a comment. I can't say it.
Oh, can you edit it?
Why? Yeah, because this is the place not to say it.
I was like, huh?
All right.
Is there a way to edit the comment? Now we're eager.
Maybe it's best that you don't say it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go with Marisa.
Well, you shouldn't even said that
I know,
because that's
I was like-
all we're wondering.
Now we're like, what
could
is she gonna
possibly
say?
be
Yeah,
saying?
right.
Oh, it's not even that important.
Okay.
Just
All
like
right.
the movie, a build-up with no payoff.
I know. I was like, is that what you just
that
did?
was actually what I was
That was the
going
purpose
for.
here.
See, Marisa and I have one mind.
Yeah, we get it.
I was
Okay.
just trying
What,
to
you
create a
thought you should
metaphor.
have shown her naked?
No.
Oh. All right.
I
Well,
don't
Yeah, moving on.
I know. I was like, let's keep guessing. No,
No, we're not going to do that,
let's
John.
not do that. Let's not do that.
all right. Well, then we
Current-
got to move on to another subject. Somebody pick one because I'm out.
Well,
We've done
okay,
music,
let's
we've
get
done
to
direction, we've
the
done
audience.
casting.
The audience
Oh,
reception
yeah,
of
reception.
this.
Well, it's critics are Rotten Tomatoes gets 78% positive reviews. It's getting a 6.8 out of 10, I think. For the audience, they like it a little bit better. They're getting about 81 and about 4 out of 5 stars. So audiences like it. It is a feel-good movie, so most
It's a
audiences
feel-good
are liking
movie.
it. Metacritic, what is it getting on Metacritic?
That
What do we got here?
I didn't write
don't
that.
have.
Yeah.
That,
Actually, happy
yeah,
with
that I didn't. Even I couldn't find a score on
Oh, it's
Cinema
60
Score
out of
either.
100.
Oh.
So all very solid
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So, but for the general audience that usually gives those ratings, that's what particular demographic? Because I feel like this film is aimed towards the older demographic.
I would completely agree with that, just based on the trailers that they show in the
John
beginning
Lennon.
of this movie. I don't think that when they've pushed this movie, they've pushed it at all for like the mass market. I think it was
well,
only
it hasn't
put
even
in front
open for that. It's open in very limited theaters. and
Yeah,
it's,
and
it's getting a wider release now because it's doing well. It's made $3 million already, and in very
And it's only a $10 million budget
million
movie. This is
budget,
a
yeah.
low
I
budget
don't think
movie.
that this is something that's going to go to wide and then jump like
No.
crazy.
No.
I don't think the reviews are strong enough for that. I don't think they put it out to enough people for that, or at least a wide enough demographic. I feel like when I went and saw this movie, I was the youngest person in the theater by far, and I
Same
got
here.
looked at like, why was I here?
Aw.
I was with
Wow.
all
I'm like,
older.
aw.
That's not where I was. My
No,
audience
I was with
different.
all older people.
I think time of day matters when you go and see it. I think it would be if I went to see it tonight, like Friday or Saturday night, I'd be curious.
You be with older people.
I mean, I'm sure there'd be majority older people. Yes, I'm not in disagreement, but I also think, I took my brother who is a musician, and so
And he's
part
how
of-
old?
He's 25.
There you go.
And he did not regret seeing it. In fact, he was like, that was a good movie. And he's not someone that watches The Notebook, so like he's not necessarily into like only feel good movies. I mean,
Right.
he watches some strange things.
Oh, he's 25.
He's 25, but it played to sort of the musicianship of the whole thing, in the sense of I think the use of Lennon and the songs
There's a
and
whole
that there's a
music
layer.
audience, that
yeah,
is true.
So I think for younger kids, and
See,
Bobby
I think
Cannavale
it's
is.
a great cautionary tale for anybody that's in an artistic endeavor.
I agree.
because
Like, don't lose track of who you are.
Exactly, for that regard.
Stay humble,
and
or at
that's
least attempt
what the
to.
actual letter says. Stay true to yourself.
It's hard to. It's one of those things where you can say that to someone, and you wonder if he had gotten that letter, all those years ago, and if he had called John Lennon or whatever it was, like,
Yeah.
would he in fact still have become
Well, it is interesting the fact that
Would he have been friends with John Lennon?
who knows? But he clearly needed somebody at that age,
To,
at
like,
that
smack
time,
him across
to
the
help
face.
him
Yes.
across the abyss,
Yeah.
or through the abyss, or something
agree.
like that. And that would have been amazing to have a mentor like that. Who, I would have loved it.
Who better than John Lennon?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Who better than John Lennon?
Yeah. Well,
He's a good one.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a mentor, hey,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think many people would have said, hey, you know what, John Lennon.
Okay, have we
I'll pass.
done our dissection? Any last thoughts? Last words? You
Go
good?
see it.
Okay. Where can they find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at the Alison Dean.
There you go.
I do not have a Twitter or an Instagram.
Yeah.
But you can find me here. You can find me on AfterBuzz TV. You can find me on Box Office Breakdown. All of those things. I will not say that I regretted seeing this movie. I am excited to see more from everyone involved in this movie. It's just not going to make my favorites list.
Okay, fair
Marisa.
enough.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. Also on other AfterBuzz TV shows, our sister network, other anatomy shows, and we have the summer films coming up, so that should be
Yeah,
fun
and
to
where
do.
can they find information
And you
about
can
us?
follow all of us on Twitter at Movie Anatomy. You can follow Popcorn Talk on Twitter and YouTube at the Popcorn Talk Network.
Okay, thanks much for listening. Thanks, Futch. I said thanks very much, is what I was trying to say, for listening. We'll talk to you next time, and that's it. We're gone.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the rest of the Anatomy of a Movie staff, we would like to thank you for listening and subscribing to the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email or tweet us. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been Anatomy of a Movie. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.